Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden on this gorgeous, beautiful February day. It is so incredibly beautiful today. I'm probably gonna have to take off my vest, but right now it is, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. So anyway, today is Monday, and Monday I normally post a Master Gardener's training recap for what I learned the past week on Friday. I actually did not go to Master Gardener's this past Friday because I was sick. I was pretty sick all week. I had started off the week and kind of like, you know, on Monday I would do something and I didn't really feel great, so I went to bed early, and then on Tuesday, same thing, and I went to bed early, and then by, I don't know, Wednesday night, Thursday, it was like, oh, I basically slept for 2 days. And it was glorious and beautiful and just so nice to do that. I binged watched some Netflix shows, which I never do. So that was absolutely fantastic. And I feel so much better today. Today is actually Saturday, is the day I'm filming it. So anyway, no Master Gardener's training recap. It's okay. They are sending me a video of the presentation, so I'll be able to learn all the information, and I'm allowed to miss one day. So that's my one day. So I can't miss any other days for the rest of the 16 weeks. But I feel like I'll be able to make them. I'm sure it'll be fine. So anyway, so I'm happy to be out here. It's a gorgeous day, and I am planning to get some planting done today. So in addition to being sick last week was also Valentine's Day. It was Valentine's Day on Tuesday, and I was still feeling okay on Tuesday, like not horrible. So we still got to celebrate as a family, and Jason and I got to celebrate together. So funny because we've been married like 13 years now, and we've been together for like 18 years. And we used to live in San Francisco, and we used to have a double income, no kids, you know, the dinks, right? So we used to go to these fancy dinners, get all dressed up. It was wonderful, but we obviously, with 2 kids and a mortgage now, we obviously don't do that anymore. I mean, we could, but I don't know. We just don't need to do that anymore. But we still try and do a little something, get each other like little gifts or something like that. And he was so sweet this year. This year, he actually bought me a David Austin Gertrude Jekyll rose, which I am so excited about because I have been wanting one of these for a while now. And I was joking on Instagram and saying, how did he know? How did he know? It's because I've been talking about it for a couple months now. So it was perfect timing because David Austin, or really all rose providers, will send you your rose when it's time to plant. And we actually got the rose in the mail the day before Valentine's Day. So it was just perfect timing. So if you live in zone 9B for Valentine, ask for a rose for Valentine's Day because it'll show up right at the right time, you know? So I'm so excited about this. So when you get a rose in the mail, you want to plant it as soon as possible. It's a bare root rose. You want to plant it as soon as possible. I was just so sick last week. I just couldn't, I couldn't have planted it last week. So it's only been a couple days. We got it on Monday and today's Saturday. So I think it's fine, but we got to get it in as soon as possible. So the David Austin Gertrude Jekyll rose is a gorgeous, gorgeous rose. It has bright pink blooms, my color pink. I'm super excited about that. And David Austin has said it is best for flowering and best for fragrance. Apparently it's repeat blooming, so it'll bloom a couple times throughout the season. Deadheading it obviously is going to help with that. And then apparently it has this old rose fragrance. I've never actually smelled it or really even seen it in person, but I'm so excited about it. And then I posted about it on Instagram, and a lot of people messaged me and said this was one of their favorite roses. So super, super excited to get it in the ground and to get it growing. And hopefully it'll start blooming by May for the garden tour. I think it'll be so incredibly beautiful. So the Gertrude Jekyll rose comes in 2 sizes. It comes in the shrub size, which is about 5 feet tall. And then it also comes in the climbing rose size, which gets about 8 to 10 feet tall. They call it a short climber. So it's really good for a tutor, which is exactly where I'm planning to plant it. So this tutor is in a west-facing garden bed, and they did say this rose is very versatile because they did say it can handle a little bit more shade and it can handle all directions garden bed. It can handle north facing, south facing, west facing, and east facing. So a west facing one I think is going to be absolutely perfect. It does, they say, I'm looking at my notes right here. It does have 80 petals per bloom. So it's really like lots of dense petals, which is my favorite type of rose. They also do say it's first to start flowering in the season, which is so cool. Very, very excited about it. So in addition to it being an absolutely beautiful rose, I actually also really like the rose based on the name of the rose, and that is Gertrude Jekyll. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with Gertrude Jekyll, but she is a horticulturist and a garden designer from England. She lived like in the early 1900s, during a time when most horticulturists and most garden designers were men. And so I just find her fascinating because she was this strong, artistic woman, you know, a woman of like a jack of all trades, I guess, or a Jill of all trades, I should say. She was a photographer and an artist and a writer. She wrote a whole bunch of books, and she designed over 400 gardens in Europe and in America. So I just think she's awesome. She did her main garden that she's the most known for is it Munstead Woods? I think that's what it's called. But this beautiful garden that's well known for like big swaths of color. Apparently she was like losing her eyesight, and so what she did is she did a whole big like a swath of colors so that she could see the color even with her failing eyesight, which I thought was so, I mean, it's just so cool. So she did write, I have looked at some of her books, you know, they're obviously very old, right? But one of them was Children and Gardens. She wrote a whole book dedicated to gardening for children and different things you can do to get your children involved. It's really cute, and you can actually read it online. I'll put a link down below. It's kind of fun to read an old book like that. And actually the ideas that she had in that book were fantastic. So if you guys have kids or if you have grandkids, take a look at that book, because there were some really cute ideas that I would like to incorporate into my garden as well. So I just thought having a rose that's dedicated to Gertrude Jekyll, I think is just so cute. We have a camellia in the front yard named Mrs. Tingley, and my whole family responds, or like we call it like, oh, Mrs. Tingley, oh, say hi to Mrs. Tingley. It's like the cutest thing. And so I just thought we could have a Gertrude back here, and I think it would be so cute. And it's, to me, it's a good inspiration of being, you know, like a strong woman, basically. I know that sounds corny, but it just does something for me. So anyway, enough talking. Let's get to planting. Before I got all ready this morning, I did start soaking the rose. So this is what it came like. It was just in this bare root version right here, and oh, it looks like I have a broken root right there. That's a bummer. So you just want to soak your rose, and you want to soak it for at least 30 minutes, if not even a little bit longer. She's been in here for about 2 hours now, so I think that that's plenty of time. And then all I need to do now is I just need to go look at the thorns. Isn't that crazy? So I'm definitely going to be wearing gardening gloves when I work around her. But what I need to do now is I need to go and I need to get all my supplies for digging the hole, prepare the hole, and then we'll get it planted. All right, to the garage. All right, you can see I already took my vest off. It is even getting warm now. Look over there. Can you guys see that way over there? There's actually some blooms on that tree over there. That tree is usually the first to blossom out and get its leaves, but it's just so exciting to see it. It's such a nice day. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to plant it right there on that tutor. I have my debris bag for when I take stuff out over there. And then I have a shovel, obviously for digging a hole, a digging fork for loosening up that bottom of the hole. I have a bamboo stake, and this is what I'm going to use to check the level of the hole to make sure that I got it deep enough and I'm planting the rows to the right depth. Then I have some of my pruning shears just in case. Some gloves, of course. I didn't get my rose pruning gloves because I don't think I'm going to be working with that part of the rose that much. I'm mostly going to be digging the hole. I do have compost. I am going to amend the hole with a little bit of compost. The David Austin website does recommend manure, well-rotted manure. I don't have any well-rotted manure, but I'm just going to use compost, and I think that that's fine. But if you want to follow exactly what the David Austin website says, they say manure compost, which you can get at the garden center. Also, they recommended mycorrhizal fungi to spread on the roots before you plant it. I don't have any of that. You can buy that at a garden center as well, but I do have Sure Start, a starter fertilizer this has mycorrhizal fungi in it, along with a couple other things, and it is a non-burning formula, so I think it would be perfect for planting. So I have all of that. Then I'm going to plant it over here. So I do have to move a couple things. One thing, I have a mandevilla in there. You guys I'm sure you can't even see it. I got one bloom last year, like wasn't even worth it. It was one bloom. So, and that's because those are only hardy down to zone 10 and I'm zone 9B. So it was a stretch anyway. So I'm getting rid of that one. And then this one is a southern sword fern. And this one you can see it's kind of scorched right here. Like I said, this is a west-facing garden bed, so it gets the hot afternoon sun. So this one actually scorched last fall when it was really hot. And so I'm actually going to transplant this right over to the other side of the fence into my oak tree garden bed, which is an east-facing garden bed, so it'll get morning sun. So I think it'll be much happier there. And I have a bunch of other ones there as well. I probably will even divide this up. Then I have a Clematis montana that I have not been taking care of at all. Look, it's such a mess. You don't have to prune a Clematis montana. You can just leave it, but you can see it gets kind of messy. I actually transplanted this one. It used to be right there where my honeysuckle is, and it was growing up along this pergola right here. But then I decided to plant the 3 honeysuckle along this pergola. So I moved it over here, and it definitely suffered after that move. It didn't die, but it definitely wasn't happy. So I don't know how it's going to be if I move it again. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that one today because I'm going to plant the rose right underneath the tutor, and it'll be really small. And this one is planted like right there, so it'll be far enough away that I won't be disturbing it. I might disturb the roots a little bit. I'll let this one bloom because you can see there's buds on here already. I'll let it bloom this year, and then I'll try and transplant it maybe to the oak tree garden bed as well, or maybe to my cottage garden bed over there. I might do that and see how it does, but not expect too much from it, if that makes sense. Like if it doesn't survive the transplant, I'm not going to be too upset because I've kind of tortured this poor thing anyway. So that's my plan. So I'll try and clean that up a little bit and then get all the rest of the stuff out. You know what? This is all twisted along here. I might not be able to even leave it here. Okay. Well, I'll see what I can do once I start actually getting in there and digging things out. So yeah. All right, let's get started. Okay, problem. There is PVC pipe directly where I want it to go. And I really hope I didn't break this pipe. I should probably, I think this is the one that brings it out to the oak tree garden bed, so I'll have to run it real quick just to make sure I didn't break that pipe while I was digging right there. It's very annoying. So I was trying to pull it up a little bit so that it would get a little bit more sun. So I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna plant the rose like right in front of the pipe, like right here. This is a Bobo hydrangea. So I think I'm gonna have to move this Bobo like right there or something, like just move it this way just a little bit. And I think that will be fine. I haven't even decided if I want to leave these Bobos right here just because they get a little bit scorched at the end of the season, like late summer, fall. So I might be moving those anyway. So priority is getting Gertrude Jekyll rose in here. So I think I'm going to put it just right there, I'll say. But I'm going to run the drip really quick just to make sure I didn't, I didn't poke this pipe. Ah. Okay, it's running. I think we're good. I don't see anything right now. Okay, I think we're good. Phew, my goodness. It's not one thing, it's another. Okay, so I'm just gonna move the hole up a little bit. I think I'm gonna leave the Bobo right there for now. And I'll just work around it, and then eventually I will move that as well. I don't know, maybe I'll just move it now while it's still dormant. I probably should move it now while it's still dormant. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so I got the Bobo moved. I know you can't really tell because it's just sticks, but I just got this moved over maybe like 6 to 12 inches, not very far, but enough so that I could dig a hole right in front of that pipe right there. I am running into so much landscape fabric, story of my life. So after I get everything planted, I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna rip all this out and cut it. That's kind of how I've been attacking the landscape fabric that I have all over in my garden. It was put in before we moved here, and there's actually places in my garden where there's plastic landscape fabric, which is absolutely terrible. So it's just kind of like a constant battle. Sometimes I just cut a hole in it and like don't worry about it because I don't want to deal with it. And then days like today where it's like I really need to take it out. It's just so much better for my plants. So you can see the hole I have right here. This hole has oh my god, I almost fell. Jeez, that would have been good entertainment, right? So this hole has a ton of sand in it and a ton of rocks, or it had a ton of rocks. And I'm pretty sure that's from when they did the landscaping over here. They just put like a bunch of amendments in here. This whole garden bed kind of has that, a bunch of sand and a bunch of rocks, like lots of rocks in some places. So I'm definitely going to amend this with compost to make it a little bit better. I dug the hole twice as wide as my shovel and about 1.5 as deep as the shovel. The David Austin website said 2 times as deep as a spade. I think my shovel's a little bit bigger than a spade, so I will measure it now with the bamboo pole just to make sure that I got it to the right level, depth-wise. Ooh, are you taking that off?
The table is ruined.
It's totally ruined?
Pretty bad.
Uh-oh. Jason just took off the cover. It's like wobbly. Oh man.
Too much water sitting on it.
Yeah. So this used to be our kitchen table. When we lived in the house before this house, it was a lot smaller. We couldn't have a big kitchen table. So I just loved it so much. It was a great table, but it's not an outdoor table. So we put it outside and it's lasted, I mean, how many years would you say?
3 or 4 years?
3 years, yeah. So, I mean, we definitely got the use out of it. Okay, well.
I think it's done.
Time to go shopping.
Yay.
All right, so let's grab this girl, I should say, Gertrude Jekyll. Bring her over here. Oh gosh, think I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. Okay, so I'm gonna put my bamboo stake right here because I know that this is the top of my soil. And what you want is you want it planted all the way up here and just a little bit to the green right here, a little bit of the green being covered. So I'm going to dig my hole deeper. All right. All right, so let's try this again. That looks better. Okay, so I've got it down. I'm gonna have a little bit of the green shoots be a little bit buried, just a little bit, kind of like right there. So that's the perfect height. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna amend this with some of my compost, and then I'm gonna sprinkle my Sure Start on all the roots. Okay, so I've got some compost in there. And then I'm just gonna take my digging fork and I'm just gonna kind of mix it in and break up the bottom of the hole even more so that it's really, really easy for those roots to get down into the ground. Okay? Now, this is my Sure Start. So this is what I'm using as my mycorrhizal fungi. And then I'm gonna do this over the hole so that the rest of it gets down into the hole, which will be good for the plant. Okay, and now I'm just gonna backfill. I'm gonna add some more of my compost. Kind of mix it in. Okay, and then I'm just gonna step on it. Well, step around it, I should say, just to make sure I've gotten out all the air pockets. All right, let's get the tutor back here. And all done. That clematis, I swear, I almost ripped it out, but I'm gonna wait. There's lots of buds on it, so I just think it looks really, really messy right now, but that's okay. And I wish I had some mulch so that I could have mulched around it, but I will get some of that later. I'm thinking about getting like a big bulk delivery of mulch and doing it all at one time. So we'll see about that. And I mean, not to rag on this whole area, but I definitely have to paint this tutor as well. So, I mean, it's a good start. I'm glad I got the rose in. I'm really excited about it. It looks like a really, really healthy rose, grade 1 all the way. Check out my my bare root rose videos. I'll link it up here or here. I never remember which side it is. But I talk all about grading different roses and whether it's a grade 1, grade 1.5, or grade 2. And this is definitely a grade 1 rose. So I'm excited about that. All right. I think it looks good. I'm happy. I'm happy to get outside and get some fresh air for sure. Ooh, it is bright. I think it's time to get my gardening hat out and start wearing that. So I like to wear gardening hats or baseball hats for this reason. And I don't usually like to wear sunglasses because when I put on sunglasses when I'm gardening and I look down, I feel like my sunglasses always fall off into the dirt. So I always end up wearing them on the top of my head, and that doesn't help with this at all. So might be time for gardening hat season, which is very exciting. All right, so there is the final product, Gertrude Jekyll, all planted in her in her home now. I hope she does really well. I think she's going to do really well. It looks like a really healthy rose. So I want to encourage all of you, if you guys are interested in getting a new plant this year, getting a new rose for your garden, like research the name and why it's called what it's called, because once you start actually researching the meaning behind the name, all of a sudden it gets really, really special, right? So this Gertrude Jekyll is super, super special. And it doesn't even have to be something like, you know, a name of somebody in history. It could just be like assigning the plant to something special. Like if you get a plant for Mother's Day or Father's Day or something like that, then you know that that plant's always super, super special to you. So I think it just brings a lot of meaning to our gardens when we go, you know, put a little bit of extra effort in to kind of think about, you know, what's special about each plant rather than just some random plant, which I have plenty of those too. But just getting something special for your garden, and it has meaning. And now this Gertrude Jekyll rose, not only was it a gift from Jason for Valentine's Day, but it has special meaning because of Gertrude Jekyll, and she's someone that I admire, and I'm happy to have her in my garden. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.